Okay, so once you've got this guy in here, I want to talk a little bit about visibility graphics. They're slightly different for the conceptual mask than they are for the DWG, although it's very similar. So I'm just going to go over a few things with the conceptual mask, and then the rest of the information, like the view templates and very specifics, you can get from the other videos that go over the DWG link, because it's very similar. So let's take a look at this guy. I'm going to close up my families here. I don't really need that. And I'm going to go to my composition sheet. We've loaded this guy in. And what we want to do now is kind of control how it looks on the sheet, because I've set this sheet up for about a 60 by 60. And this is a little bit bigger, so you can see it's getting cut off a little bit. And also, this is not a terribly attractive view right here. You know, it is sectioning it, but it's just showing it in black and white. And so I'd like to make that a little clearer. This is getting cut off, you know. So what I'm going to do, let's close my hidden windows. And I'm going to go ahead and close the family. I don't really need that anymore. I just need the project. And then I'm going to go to my 3D view here. And I'm going to WTZA so I can see both of these guys at the same time. So what is controlling the cropping is this scope box. So if I go to plan, this is plan 4 right here. So if I highlight plan 4 schematic, you're going to see that scope, it's being controlled, the extent. So the cropping is being controlled by this scope box. So if I pick the scope box, that's scope box A. And again, I go back to plan A4 schematic. And you can see the scope box has been applied to the instance properties of this view, right? So what does that mean? It's been applied to actually all the schematic view, floor plan views. And so you can see some of them are being clipped. So watch what happens when I adjust this scope box. So I could do it here, or let's go ahead and take a look at it in plan A1 since we're looking at, well, let's look at it in plan A4 as well. Right, so here I am in plan A4, so you can see that scope box and how it's cropping that guy. So if I just pull this scope box, it's parametrically connected to the cropping area for all of the 3D views. So you see this one is getting larger and this one. So if I were to pull this to the center, all of them get cropped there. So this is a parametric cropping tool, right? So the other thing we would want to do is make it wider, because you can see it's getting clipped here. So even though it's not getting clipped at this lower part, when it gets up higher, it's getting clipped. So I'm going to come and sort of pull it out, right? Let's pull it out and see if we can. Okay, so we're not seeing any adjustments right here. So this scope box or this cropping area is not connected to that scope box, right? So this is the 3D above. So it's a 3D view right here. It's this 3D above view. So if I make that current, right, it's this view right here. And so what I'm going to do is down here, you can see there's a crop region. I'm going to show the crop region. And then I can pull that guy bigger. So there's two ways that the crop can be controlled. One is by this crop region, which is sort of a manual cropping, and you can turn the visibility of what it's cropping here. So I can hide the crop region. I can also tell it not to crop, right, at all, and it won't. But I do want it to crop. Or if I assign a scope box over here on the left-hand side, which this one doesn't have any, that's why I can control it, then it will be controlled by that scope box. So if I go to scope box A, you'll see it'll flip, you know, to that scope box. So I'm going to go to none. Just go ahead and control Z back so it's not clipping all of that. Let's see if I can get it. There we go. All right. So that's a couple of those things. And then in the next video, I'll talk about updating how these guys are represented in plan.